Welcome to Unapologetic. I'm Will Poznan. I'm joined by WNBA center Kiah Stokes.
Here.
And NBA guard Mulder.
What up, y'all?
And our guest today is Dallas Wings All-Star Satou Sabally.
What's up, y'all?
Thanks for coming on. So you're unique in that. Are you the only German player in the WNBA?
So Marie Gillish is with LA, but she didn't decide to come over this year. So technically the second in the W.
So that was where I wanted to start. I'm just so curious about what it's like when you're kind of your country's prospect for the NBA or WNBA. Like, it kind of reminds me of like what Dirk had, what Giannis is going through right now. Mm-hmm. And your teammate Awak is kind of in a similar situation for Finland. So what's that like? Like, how young are you kind of told, hey, you're the number one prospect in the country?
It's really crazy. You know, leading up to this moment, a lot of people have always said, oh, like, you could be the next Dirk, you could be the next Dirk. But I'm always more on the more humble side. I always like to say, but then there's Maxi, there's Dennis Schröder, you know, all these people in the NBA who I always look up to. But it's definitely cool to be that person on the women's side. I think that I'm working hard for it, and, you know, just playing overseas in Europe and playing here gives a lot of attention to women's basketball. And I can tell that it has definitely changed. You know, people from Germany reaching out to me more often, how they can watch the games, how they can access everything, to watch it for the kids, the jerseys, you know, like people in Germany can't really access that in an easy way. You know, Kiki, when we're overseas, it's hard to just keep up with the life in America, but they're trying. And I think that's really good that I'm the person for that.
Well, now I was going to go in the direction of like, is it a club system and stuff over there? But let's go straight to your friendship with Kiah. And are you the only person that calls her Kiki on the planet?
Am I? I don't know. I feel like everyone called her Kiki last year, and I just kept going because we had two Kias.
Here's the thing. When I was little, my brother would just call me Lil Kiki, and that was just me and him kind of thing, right? And then I don't know what happened, but me and Kiah Vaughn started playing on the same team overseas. And of course, you know, these Turks just can't say Kiah Vaughn and Kiah Stokes. They just can't say Vaughn or Stokes. It's got to be Kiah and Kiki, and I just happen to be Kiki. So now it's like overseas, everyone call me Kiki, and at home, everyone just calls me Kiah or Stokes. Like this, and then Satou, she knows me as Kiki because we wasn't cool in the summer before I met her.
Right.
And now it's
Kiki.
Kiki.
And a most annoying tone too. Kiki.
So how does that happen? Because like, Satou, you were the rookie last year for Fenner, and how did you guys end up being friends like this?
It was actually really funny. We both came later. The team was in Kayseri, that's a Turkish city, and they were there for a little tournament, and we just hopped on a bus and had to catch a flight to go to that city, and we're just like, hey, what's up? And we met in a bubble one time, real short, but I didn't really put together that we would play with each other. Like, I was just like, oh my God.
She was like, we was in a bubble, and she was like, hey, do you have a swipe for the gate? And I was like, yeah. And then I was trying to, because I know I was going to play with her. I was like, oh, good game yesterday, because we had just played them. She was like, thanks. And I was like, all right, bitch, bye then. Like,
right.
I was like, clearly she doesn't know that we're going to be on the same team. But yeah, and it was funny because our GM out here basically told her, like, don't hang around me because I'd be out too much. But I was like, it's fine. Yeah, and then
it was fine.
I told her some stories of how I got in trouble a couple times, and she just laughed, and then we was friends from there. Basically.
Right.
That's really nice. I wonder what I'm gonna have to edit out.
Right. I was like, Kiki's just telling on herself, but it's really not that. Like, it's really just like really living a normal life and having fun. And I think that a lot of times, especially because I'm a rookie, they just I don't know what it is
Well,
about
not
me, but
anymore.
they love to baby me.
But you're not a rookie anymore. You're like my daughter. My daughter's trying to stay a baby because we just had another one. You're trying to stay a rookie. Like,
Oh no!
treat me like a
Me.
rookie.
No, no. I'm excited that this is my second year now overseas, and I really can't wait. Like, this is a good squad that we have, and I'm really looking forward to seeing them all again.
So, I follow you on social media. I see you post like Muhammad Ali quotes sometimes. Are you a big fan of his?
Yeah, I definitely am.
And why do you feel so connected to him?
I think he's just this great personality in time, in our history, especially Black history, that has stood up to a system as an athlete where he was not given the media platforms like we have now. He had to really acquire all that knowledge by himself. And he converted to Islam. And I think that was a really big step for him to even clarify his own identity, know what he stands for, know what he wants to do for his people, for himself. And, when he decided to not fight a war for people who don't protect him in his own country, the United States, it was that has always sparked an interest for me and him, because I was just like, wow, how do you have that power and strength to do that as an athlete? Because, oftentimes we're just being told what we do and we do it. We've done this since, I don't even know, since we're 6 years old. We get exercises to do here and here and here. So when you exit that sports world and actively try to change something outside, it just shows a lot of strength. And I love that about Muhammad Ali. I think that he's a great person. I was in this museum for like 4 or 5 hours, and I just couldn't stop leaving because I would just read everything. Yeah, no, I was really nerdy in that point, but I just love his story, and it's just dope.
I mean, I get it. I think that there's a lot of similarities to the way he used sports and the way that the WNBA is using sports.
Right.
And that was why I'm just really curious what it's like for you as one of the faces of the Dallas Wings. I feel like you and Enrique right now are the face of the Dallas Wings, and Texas is, I mean, I can frame how I feel about what Texas is going through. I was curious how you, as somebody who lives there, how would you frame what Texas is going through right now?
Crisis.
That's how I feel too.
It's really an infringement on rights. It's an infringement in the decision of what you can do with your own body or not. I think that, a lot of things right now resolving around abortion has the topic abortion is healthcare to me. I don't think that, first of all, I think that there are a lot of different topics that we could provide women to actually have a better life, but oftentimes in society, it feels like we fight for something and then something else is taken away from us that we need to focus on. So it's always hard for women, Black women, because people in underdeveloped, communities are going to suffer so much more than me, for example, who could just travel out the country. I'm going to be, people with financial abilities, they have different opportunities. And I think those opportunities of free choice are taken away of women, of communities, when those bills are put into place. And I think that is totally wrong. I think there are different priorities as well. And I think that we could provide a lot more healthcare in America, because I know how it is in Germany, and it's absolutely different as it should be.
It's some bullshit. I don't think it's right. I just feel like old white men should not be making decisions about female bodies. Like,
right.
Well, men in general, don't have to be white, but I just feel like men in general should not be making decisions about females' bodies. Like, I feel like there's no question about it. So I just, say what I gotta say. I say it's some bullshit, and that's kind of.
It was really interesting. I was talking to a pastor I know from Oregon, and we're good friends with his family, like my sister and I, and super nice. And I just wanted to know, because I'm a really curious person, I just wanted to know how it is from the religious standpoint, right? I asked him because it was really nagging on my heart. I was really sad about it. I was like, So what do you think about it? Because I really love him. They're a great family. And he has just this great spirit about it. And I'm not Christian, but I want to know what his view is. And he said, it's really hard to determine the starting point of when life starts. And that is the debate around it. You know, it's like for centuries we've said, okay, or for years our technology isn't more advanced. So now we can determine life at the first heartbeat. It's a lot more earlier. The heartbeat is when most of the women don't even know they're pregnant. So their lives are going to change for something that they were not aware of, for something that women are most of the time forced to take precautions and not men, you know, like when we talk about protection and sex, that totally goes further, you know, like for years, there's only been how do you protect yourself to get pregnant, not how do you protect yourself to get someone pregnant except with a condom.
Oh, yeah. No, Texas has never considered mandatory vasectomies.
And yeah, like that would totally be outrageous. So if a group of women be like, let's have mandatory vasectomies, obviously the total different viewpoint, and you can totally go to the extreme. But I think it's really interesting to see what other people's viewpoints are. But I still think you don't have the choice to make it, you know, if you don't have your own choice, how human are you really? You know, what kind of humanity is stripped away from you when people determine what you have to do with the next 9 months of your life, with the next years of your life? You know, are you going to adopt? You really have to think about adoption now, or you have to think about keeping the child and changing your own life path. And we all know who was the primary caretaker in most cases. So yeah, it's just a lot of things.
No, for sure. I mean, last week, Kiah got it on the front of my mind because she was comparing like the vaccine protocol, and you know, Texas is all libertarian when it comes to the vaccine, and then you would think that like Texas. What happens inside somebody's body would be a libertarian issue, but with abortion, you know, they're the opposite. They're kind of militant at controlling the bodies of their poor female citizens.
Yeah, it's really pick and choose. Like it's not pro-life to me at all. It's not pro-life at all. And when you
To me, pro-life is a personal choice. Like, I'm pro-life for myself, not I'm pro-life for strangers.
Exactly.
Right.
Exactly. And the kid, like you don't know how the kid will deal with the whole situation. You know, if you're an unwanted kid, I think that you will struggle for the rest of your life with it too if you're not taken care of the right way and sheltered like you should be.
Yeah, I mean, I know women who, you know, they got an abortion young and then later on they had a kid.
Right, me too.
They have more resources later on, and they get to be the mother that they always wanted to be. But if they were forced to have that kid too young, now they're like behind the 8 ball for 10 years, and they never really get to be the mother that they want to be.
Right.
Exactly.
Right. Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, in light of all that, how is it going to make you feel moving forward to wear a jersey that says Texas on it? Because the Dallas Wings, one of your jerseys says Texas big across the front.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you know, I've been definitely thinking about that. It's awkward, you know, to live in a state where you feel like you don't you're not really free if you wouldn't have, I guess, money. I guess that's what it is, really. Or freer. You know, I'm still a woman and I'm still a Black woman, I guess, here in Texas. But I do stand behind the team. I love my team. I love the organization. And I think that we're going to be really, really good. And I think that, you know, if people like me are on the team, people like Arike, people like Isabel Harrison, who really stand for the strength of women and the power of women, I think that we are representation. And we need to be in this field. You know, we need to stand for a better Texas. And when Texas is across our chest, we stand for abortion as healthcare. We don't stand for, don't take all the women's choices away. You know, I think we will, I'm really being dramatic here, but no, I'm really saying like, we're going to redefine what Texas really means for ourselves and for our fans. I wouldn't say that I feel bad and I never want to be in Texas because we could go to Washington and find other problems too.
No, I hear that. And I think like if, you know, sports is such a big thing in Texas, like if all the sports was united on this, I think it would be a really big deal.
Right. I agree. And I think the W really does a good job of that. You know, we have great people in the WNBPA who take good care of us and who provide us the resources and the knowledge, which is really amazing to take those steps and, you know, to be more actively engaged.
Have there been conversations about stuff the Wings might do next year in regards to this?
Yeah, for sure. And I think that there are a lot more conversation around even knowing about it. I think that the educational aspect needs to be a lot more, you know, and I think that the rights change for us too. So we should be educated about it as well. You know, when you draft players, when you get people into a state of, at first, a lot of things are happening. When you get drafted, you don't think about that part, you know, but when you actively live in a state, you will get to know it better. And I think that Dallas will do a better job and a good job per se, because they do talk about it with us, about providing the knowledge and even creating connections to the community as well.
It's a difficult topic for sure, but it's good that you guys are educated on it and the players know and have enough to have a good conversation about it and really bring attention to that, because it is an issue. So it's good that you guys can use your platform and your voices to impact change in that regard for sure.
Right.
All right, so we're going to move to something a lot less serious. We talked a little bit earlier about the pressures of being, you know, the face of basketball for a country, and we're going to talk about one, maybe two people who are in that situation for. Let's keep it to one who's in that situation for Australia. We're going to talk right now about Ben Simmons. He's the face of Australian basketball, and he's the talk of the NBA world. And, you know, Kiah, let's start with you. What do you think of the current status of the Ben Simmons thing?
I don't know. I think it's a tough situation all around. I think the last thing, because I don't follow it necessarily heavily, I just, you know, see what's on social media, and I feel like the last thing I seen was he wants to take a step back for mental health reasons. Is that correct, or did I miss something else in there?
Yeah, so that's he addressed the team. He said he's taking a step back for mental health.
Okay, and so I am a big believer, like, if you really are going through some things, you need to take a break. And I, like, believe mental health is real. If you're not fully, like, committed, if you're going through something, like, it's okay to take that step back. I will say I do feel like sometimes people can try to use it as a cop-out. I'm not saying he is, but I'm just saying because it's so real, like, you can't question somebody when they say that. But like I said, if it's real and he needs to take the time, I'm all for it. Like, do what you got to do. I think I saw somebody tweet was like, "That's our brother." Was it Tobias Harris?
That's
maybe?
Tobias Harris.
I saw somebody. He's like, "That's our brother. You know, we're gonna support him when he's ready." Da 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 da. And I think that was a great way to stick up for your teammate, as I think all his teammates should do. And when he's ready, he's ready. And that's kind of my stance on that. You know, you can't force someone to do something they don't want to do. If he's not ready, then he's not ready. And that's that.
I mean, I could totally see how his mental health would be affected over the last few weeks, few months. Obviously, the things that are going on with him in Philly, I can see how that would be stressful and cause some sort of anxieties to his life. So I can relate to him in that regard. Like, the world can be heavy sometimes. So I definitely feel that. But it's an unfortunate situation all around. You know, him not wanting to be in Philly and kind of being stuck, being kind of unable to get out of this contract and unable to move around, obviously has led to him to make some different type of decisions. But to be honest, I think it's been a little bit mishandled, and that's on both sides. Like, I think some of these conversations should have never been made public in regards to what he wanted or how he felt. Everything these days, like, you can't avoid that, and everything's public these days. So that's why I did like what Tobias said, Kiah. Like, I know Tobias a little bit. I was teammates with his brother. So, like, I know these guys are well thought and smart guys. And he was a great teammate to me. So it was great that he stood up for his teammate and kind of was like, and we're going to give him privacy and let him deal with it on his own. And when he's ready, we're going to embrace him. Like, that was an important statement from a key player of that team. And I think that was important in the, you know, continued growth for that team and that organization. I think that's the approach that should have been brought from the start. we might not have such a deep problem. But I do think it's unfortunate on Ben's side, the way it's going. Like, okay, so I'm in a situation where I don't really want to be here, but it's kind of time to show up to work. I think he mishandled that a little bit. You guys saw him like going to practice and not being engaged, and it's like, one domino after another he seems to fall. And you can't hide from blame on both sides. I think it was obviously mishandled by the team, but I also think he's not really going about it the right way as well. I think last time we discussed it, it was a lot earlier on. It was back in the summer, kind of after the finals and after the playoff run. And I was kind of like, I feel like he's supposed to, be there for his teammates regardless. Sorry, my phone keeps ringing, but I think he's supposed to be there for his teammates regardless, and for him to, obviously sit through camp and then show up to practice when he's finally has to, and he's kind of disengaged. It looks like he's got his phone in his pocket. He don't really want to hop in drills. I don't think that's really the right way to approach it either. Obviously, I'm sure his emotions and the way he's feeling are not necessarily positive towards teammates, staff members in Philly, whatever's going on. But you kind of got to put that aside and hoop and be a good teammate. So all in all, like, I just kind of think that the situation is it's super unfortunate on both sides, especially the way that internally, like him and Joel and these guys, they don't seem to be getting along, right? And that causes huge friction and huge negative energy on a practice or whatever the team's going through. So I think the whole thing's just really going bad right now, honestly.
Yeah, I'm always the kind of person, I love to see the human side of it. I'm always Kiki will roll her eyes, but I'm always like, man, it's sad. He loves basketball. He is an NBA player. He made it all the way from Australia to the league. And maybe it's slipping away right now for him. But I do agree. It's both people. But whenever I try to find the starting point of it, and it's probably not even the starting point, there was other stuff brewing. We don't know everything. That's also my take. We don't know what happened in the locker room. We don't know what they said to each other. Although we seem to know everything, we really don't know anything. And, everyone voicing their opinion and stuff. So, when he didn't take that last layup or that last shot that could have won the game or whatever, I feel like everything just went to shit after that. It was catastrophic. The fans bashed him, right? You have to think about how you feel. When you miss a game-winning layup, you feel like the last person on earth. And it's an NBA, there's a lot of money involved. You want to make this layup, but something must have not clicked right. and then it was so chaotic, and the didn't have his back. The fans didn't have his back. It was all shitty. He wanted to leave. And I'm like, I never felt like Philly really had his back for the whole time. And in my opinion, when I'm like that, you know what? No, I don't want to be here. I don't want to be here with fans. Might risk get booed on the court, but he also did all that in practice. He came, he showed a bad attitude. But if he would have practiced 100% and he would have played, would the fans still have booed him? I bet that's still in his head. I think that a lot of times people forget how it feels for the athlete to actually prepare and step on the court. There's so many things that go into it besides just standing on the court and playing for all these people who hate you. And I don't even know if they really do, but now they do. And I can understand why he said his mental health is not good right now, because he probably knows that he put himself into the situation to a certain point, because he's not a dumb person. He knows it. But I think that what he needs to do is just get some help. He needs therapy. He needs to talk with someone if he's not doing that already, and just do the right things. I do think, if Philly isn't getting rid of him, you can't go anywhere else. So try to make the best out of your situation and just try to come out and hoop. But it's so hard. It's such a different business. But he has to.
So what I'm hearing from all of you is that it sounds like it's a toxic workplace problem, whether he's like contributing to the toxicity or not. And I think, Kiah, that's why when you talked about how sometimes it feels like people are faking it. I think that sometimes it's really tough in workplaces because one person is getting the brunt of the toxicity and everybody else is kind of like, it's normal for them. So they're like, oh, this environment's not rough for me.
Right.
But, and you know what I was wondering, if you guys felt like this debate around mental health and toxic workplaces, if it only right now is extending to star athletes, like, is there an imbalance right now? Like, for example, if Patrick Beverley on the Timberwolves felt like it was toxic for him, would anybody care? Like, what do you guys feel about that idea?
Go ahead. I think that star players might have more pressure. Oh, go ahead.
Wait, is this go ahead for real or go ahead?
No. I mean, I'm just saying, like, star players, I think they have more public pressure, but players who are on the bench, and work every single day hard to get a minute on the court, they suffer too. And I think that it's equal all around. One is more in the public eye and the other one is not. But the people in the back end, they might lose their job if they speak up. That's the problem about it. And I think that's the problem about how willing are you say you have something going on with your mental health. And I'm not even going to lie, like this summer, I was really struggling. I was like, at one point, I couldn't even get into the gym because I was like, my Achilles was hurting. I was just overwhelmed by everything. And I really had to say, okay, I literally can't come into the gym today. And I was there and it was just, I felt like I was being pressured by everything and everyone. So I just had to kind of take a step out of that environment and just clear my head for a second. Like I really had to just clear my head for a second, and then it was okay again. And not everyone is okay right away again. But as soon as you feel that is getting to that point, it's serious. And I do think I can totally see how Ben is also suffering from that.
I was just gonna say, like, whoever the star player is gonna get majority of the attention, and that's what the people are gonna care about. That's what people are gonna be interested in. But you could be the 12th, 15th man on the team, going through a whole bunch of stuff. But if you even like, let's say come out with a Players Tribune article about like your mental health or whatever, chances are like you might not get the same amount of attention as if the starter would get. So I feel like people who aren't necessarily in the limelight as much kind of keep it to themselves. But also, I just feel like social media fan base, they don't really care if it's not about the starters. Like, they want the drama, they want the gossip,
they don't care.
Want the tea.
Right.
Yeah, so I think, it's one of those things. Like, it's not really fair. Everyone goes through something at some point in their life. It might be mini to some person, but it could be like this person's whole world.
Mm-hmm.
So like I said, we don't know what's going on. We don't know. We're not in their shoes. Like, we're all going through our own thing. It's just like kind of sucks. Like, it just sucks. And then once it's amplified, I just feel like it makes it a million times worse. Because now it's like, now it's going to be like, okay, well, how's he going to get over this? Or is he going to be the same player when he gets back? Now people are having all these theories about what's going on, what he's going to do. What are the Sixers going to do? Are they going to go to shit? What's the organization going to do? Like, there's too much going on. Like, I think everybody just need to, like, press pause, let them handle their business, and then come back.
And I wonder how it affects his life. Like, he can't even go to a cafe, without everybody looking at him thinking about this.
Right.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Philly's not a forgiving city, man. Like, they're not a forgiving fan base. So, like, I understand, like I said, him going through something right now. I don't think we could really realize the type of pressure he's probably under right now in the city of Philly, where, like you said, everywhere he goes, the guy wants to go get a sandwich, and people are asking him about the playoffs last year, and he's not getting the same love he was getting when he first got there. That's for sure. And like you said, obviously, you could be the back of the bench guy, and it's like you might not really want to say too much. Like, I don't feel like I could take days off because of my mental health. Like, I don't feel like that's in the cards.
Exactly.
And it's like, if I did have that conversation though, and I did say, hey, to my team, hey, I'm going through something right now. I think I just need to step back and deal with that. I think that conversation obviously wouldn't go much further than my locker room, which is different with a guy like Ben Simmons or a guy who's the face of a team. Obviously that conversation is going to be blown up and talked about around the world, right? So obviously there's definitely a different level of pressure on the star players who are going through mental things, and a different type of pressure than obviously the 15th man on the roster. So, but I do feel for him, and it is unfortunate right now that he's going through that. And I don't think any of the stuff going on publicly is helping him in that regard.
How first of all, do the teams that you guys are on have sports therapists, or are some, I don't know if on the women's side they're completely up to 2021 yet in that respect?
Man, don't be taking shots at us.
Does Federer have a women's therapist? I mean, I would love to hear that all of the teams that all of you are on
overseas. I don't think so.
No, overseas, I would say no. But like for the WNBA, well, actually, I don't know about Vegas. I'm sure we do, but I didn't know. We have like a.
But you're just so mentally strong that you don't.
Man, get out of here. Nah, well, New York gave us one in the bubble last year, so they were like, yeah, it's a resource for you, like pay for it, use it if you want. So I'm sure if I reach out to someone in Vegas, like I'm sure I could have got one, but like I was just happy to be there, so just excited.
You weren't struggling too much, I'm sure. But
nah, I was cool.
I think especially over the last few years, I think over the last couple of years, especially, it's been more of a focus in most leagues. The last couple of teams I've been on, they've kind of had a guy that we could talk to, a sports therapist, anybody who, they're there for the mental side. And I think that's definitely helpful.
And Dallas too.
Yeah. No, we definitely are taken care of here. And it's always funny because, you get to know this new person and you just have to talk to them. But no, you don't have to. But I think it's a great thing. And I think what I really learned too, it's great to train your mind as much as you train, all the clam shows you do, all the glute bridges you do, like do that for your brain, whatever. But no, seriously, like invest some time in your mental. It is so important just to be strong. And when you face adversity like that, to be able to know, hey, okay, you analyze it in your head, you have the tools. They really give you tools how to deal with your life. And I think that's nothing bad. It's really good. And every athlete should have that, because we are just in such a physical space that it's easy to lose your mental and not take care of it. That's a quote.
So
okay.
That's the second quote that Satou has volunteered to the show.
I'm glad I could participate for two.
So
appreciate it.
Let's just go around. Last thing, what would you like to see done in the Ben Simmons situation? Like, how would you like to see that resolved, or next things moving forward? So Kiah, we'll start with you, then Myke, then Satou, and then we'll move on.
I mean, at this point, I hope that they can find a way to part ways in a peaceful manner. I just feel like at this point, it's a little too late. Like, I don't think they're ever going to fix whatever it is that's broken between Ben and the organization. And I think it's better for both parties if they just go their separate ways, have a nice, easy breakup, and hopefully both people, Ben and the Sixers, can both succeed on their own without each other. That's what I hope for.
Trade him to the Jazz? Will you co-sign that with me, that he should get traded to the Jazz? Jazz is,
I don't know.
Okay, so let me
make Donovan Mitchell is on the Jazz, right?
Yeah. So you got Donovan Mitchell and you got Bojan, who are good complementary pieces for him. You got Joe Ingles, who's from Australia, so you got that. And it's closer to the West Coast. That was a priority for him.
Not you saying all Australians know each other
and like each other.
Oh, do they? That's the third quote. These Australians don't get along. Satou Sabally.
They all hate each other.
But I just think that's, and you got like, I like their coach there. I think he's good at helping coach like the mental aspect of sports. Like, to me, like when I see Quinn Snyder talking to Donovan Mitchell, like they're very much on the same page. And then also it's like him and Donovan are kind of the same age. So it's kind of like what the Celtics have, where you got these two guys and you're like, this is our team and we're moving forward with this. And then I also think it would be really good for Utah fans to have to think about their pro athletes differently, because I think that fan base is probably the most behind of any in basketball, at least, about like understanding that their athletes are human beings. Like they can move. So it'd be good for everybody. And then also it gets him out of Philly. My idea is like 3-team, you send Gobert to the Mavericks and Porzingis to the Sixers. That would be my trade. But now that I threw like a
Don't
big
take
trade
Porzingis out of here.
you don't. Well, would you be getting Rudy Gobert?
Yeah, no, he's tough. Little
Yeah,
French
no.
man.
Okay,
That's
I'll
good.
co-sign that, Will. I'll co-sign. Simmons to the Jazz. I'll co-sign.
Okay.
I wouldn't
Myke.
have any.
You told me.
That's not a bad move. I don't know how it's got to get done, but I think something's got to get done. Like I agree. I don't think they're going to really find a healthy resolution in Philly at this point. I think it's spiraled way too far out of control now. So, however they got to do it, I think it probably is in all their interest to part ways. And I hope they can find a healthy resolution, a healthy way to do that. And obviously that is a discussion that they got to have. But I think that's the honest truth is, he's probably done his days in Philly. That's for sure.
I'm an optimist again. I'm so annoying. No, but I do think, like if they really want to make this work, I don't think Philly's just going to give him up. I don't think it's going to happen. I don't think there's going to be trades because as soon, when you get a Ben Simmons now, you bring all that media attention to your team. And either you have a good friend on another team who's like, shit, we'll make this work. We're going to do this. We'll go through it together. Okay. I don't know if anyone is willing to do that right now, even on a team basis, because you invite kind of that drama in. You're going to be the hot topic on ESPN. Season started already. I think what Philly should do is really lock in, first of all, on their own season, pipe down the media, let all that die down. Like really pipe down the media, Philly. What are y'all doing? Everything is being leaked. No protection for your own player. And if you want him in practice, back him up. Like I wouldn't want to be there if I'm being bashed everywhere. If people don't have my back, but then I don't know. Like, did they meet? Did they not meet? What exactly happened there? I think there needs to be a lot more conversation around problem solving rather than everything is shitty right now. And then after it died down, if Ben feels like he can, if he really says his mental health, and if he is struggling mentally right now, give him a break. Give him a break, let him rest, let it die down. And when it comes back up again, he needs to be strong enough to face his own demons. Like when he steps on the court, it's not going to be easy. But if you change that narrative, in my opinion, all we have in mind is Ben didn't practice. What if he finally practices again with a good mindset of destroys it? That's positively speaking, but I don't think all this trading stuff is going to happen because people don't want to deal with it. And I think Philly needs to grow up low key and be a professional organization and have the back of their player too. Dim down the media because what is going on and then just try to do it better. But it's a business, so who am I to tell?
He just told the Sixers to pipe down.
I mean, that's the Muhammad Ali coming out a little bit.
Oh, no, but I mean, his teammates
Philadelphia needs to grow up. That's the fourth quote.
No, that's not the quote because I do also think that he has a lot of teammates who want to win a championship. Embiid is an amazing player and it's unfair for him too. He could win a championship. So he needs to, I think I just want the best for that team as well. Cause I did watch some games last year and they look good. So it would be just wasted talent for me. And Philly needs to see that too. It's wasted talent if they keep dwelling on that drama, keep losing money and there's no step forward.
No, I mean, I'm big fans of both those guys. And I do think part of it is that they're both not playing their ideal style of basketball because they are teammates. And I do think that's a big part. Like for me, philosophically, like Porzingis and Embiid kind of have similar basketball philosophies, like be able to bully guys, but also be able to shoot, where Simmons is like, he wants to run, but also play some center and play some small forward on defense. Like they're both really interesting players. But that's why I would also like to see both of them in their ideal basketball situation. Another thing about the Jazz, think about this. Donovan Mitchell, mentored by Dwayne Wade, Ben Simmons, mentored by LeBron James. We could have like a Miami Heat rerun in Utah. Think about how weird that would be. Like,
so you
I think you forcing it a little bit. You forcing it a little bit.
Reaching a little bit with that one.
Man, did you stretch before that one? Because come on.
Okay, well, you know what? Luckily, this next topic is the last topic, and I really appreciate this guy for doing this because it gives us something really fun to talk about this week. Kawhi Leonard dropped an album, It's called Culture Jam. Culture Jam, the album, Volume 1, which means maybe there's more coming. I'm gonna give you the track list real quick. First song, he's opening with a song featuring NBA YoungBoy and Rod Wave called Everything
Oh yeah, that's
Different.
a vibe.
Second
That's a
song,
vibe already.
Gunna and Polo G, Waves.
What?
Third song, Lil Uzi Vert, Thankful.
Period,
Fourth
Kawhi.
song, Kiah, are you ready for this? Fourth song,
Yeah, let me hear.
A Boogie and Capella Gray called Bestie. Fifth
Yes,
song,
A
Let me
Boogie with
download
the
this
hoodie.
album right now.
Yo, it's on Apple Music. I'm about to get it too.
Fifth song,
Continue.
Stephon Dunn, Wale, Ty Dolla Sign, Gotta Have It. Sixth song, Young Blue, NLE Chopper, Everywhere You Go. I think I'm probably the only NLE Chopper fan on this podcast. Maybe not. We'll see. And then ending with, you like him too? All right. So last song, Blue Bucks Clan, No Thank You. That's the only artist I don't know is Blue Bucks Clan. Let's
He has
talk
to be
about
good.
it. Yeah. So just hearing the track list real quick. Which artist are you most excited about on the new Kawhi Leonard album, part 1 of what will be a body of work?
I'm good. I'm looking forward to the first one. NBA YoungBoy, didn't he just get out of jail? So that's some gotta have some vibes in there. And A Boogie with the hoodie, that's my guy. So this already got two stars on here.
I know. I'm looking at
No
that too.
way.
No,
Two
I'm
stars?
most excited for Wale. I can't lie. Wale just dropped that album, and he's kind of
Yeah.
back in full form. So I'm most excited about Wale, and maybe the Gunna Polo G song probably gonna be a vibe too.
Yeah, that's what I
That's
would
one of
go
the
with.
stars. Yeah,
It's got
Yeah.
the
it's one of
star.
them.
Does this
Yeah.
give any of you
That's-
guys ideas about maybe dropping an album or a mixtape or a single or something?
I
Yeah, we
mean,
could-
if I have to, I have to. You know what I'm saying?
Nice.
Yeah, keep up.
What you gonna
I
do with
didn't know-
Turkey?
I didn't know Kawhi was in that space at all. So when he dropped that, like it was a surprise to me. Maybe I just wasn't paying attention, but I didn't know
We
he was
should
in
have
that.
known. He was in the
musical
background
space.
of the Way Too Sexy
The-
video.
I saw him in the video.
I was
I didn't
shook.
think he was over there producing albums or nothing though. I did not know that.
I feel like
But
he's
no,
still
that's
a
fine.
mystery.
Right.
Yeah, that's how
I
you're gonna do
love-
it. Nobody
mystery
knows
to-
anything about him. That's
But I-
perfect.
That is a
perfect.
funny thing about it. Like everybody's kind of trying to surmise his personality based on these artists who are all a lot younger than what I would have imagined. Like if I'm imagining the Kawhi album, it's like Kendrick and Cole and those guys, but this is a different generation.
Right.
For sure.
That's very true.
That shit gonna be funny. I'm about to listen to this when we get off this.
Yeah, me too.
We play a few songs.
Definitely
right?
tapping into this. I think it's gonna be fire. I think that is funny about Kawhi. Nobody knows nothing about him. Like I don't think you could imagine his personality because he doesn't really show you too much. So that's what I did like about it, though. It being a surprise like that, it's like, man, these guys have a lot more depth than you know, right? There's a lot more going on behind the scenes than you all hear about. So it's like that's pretty cool. I didn't know he was out there promoting or producing albums or doing any of that.
So Satou, we dropping an album when you get here or what?
We still
Good
gotta
to
work
write
on
in.
our TikToks. We gotta do this.
Yeah,
Oh
Music.
my god, these
Let's go right to there.
these
Let's
TikToks.
talk about your TikTok channel. No,
They're
talk about your
terrible.
TikToks, and then we'll all give our Instagram and we'll get out of here.
TikTok is terrible. I don't even know. I feel like it's a more public version of Snapchat, and I'm not ready to expose myself like that. But it's funny. I love it. I love it. But I'm really like my
last
older
year-
brother on Instagram.
I was gonna say last year we Satou made me download this stupid app. And then she would send me all these videos and we would try to make them. And they just would never work out how we wanted
It's
it to.
hard
But-
because it's really hard.
I
Like on
know.
Instagram, you take a picture and post it.
Yeah, but our little Turkish fans, they be into it. They be getting us some likes. That's about it. I feel like we hilarious, but clearly the algorithm don't want us to win because
But I mean,
1,000 views and that's it.
I think you really just gotta, I feel like it's such a difference, if you really want to be an influencer, because all we see is influencers, if you really want to be an
Yeah.
influencer, you need to post like 2 videos a day. Sedona, my teammate from
nah.
Oregon, it's her work.
Oh,
She
nah.
makes money out of it. So I guess it's a long way to go, but
Kids these days,
We'll
man.
Well, did Kiah tell you that we're gonna take some of those TikToks and put them on the
No.
Balls Life channel? And
oh, go ahead.
yeah,
I know, I
so,
forgot to
That's
send
good
them to
publicity.
him. That's my bad.
yeah, so we might have a few more likes on those.
I sure
Oh
do.
yeah, we'll
You
get
should just
200
do it.
instead of 100.
That's our breakthrough, Kiki.
You're right. We just need one. We just need one
Small
video to
steps.
break the internet.
Mhm.
That's
Yes,
it.
small steps.
We wouldn't even keep up with
Yeah,
it.
you right. I know. We have so many ideas. Like, oh my god, we're gonna do this, and this, and we never do it. Because every time we have an off day, we're like, all right, what you want to do? Nothing. All right, cool. Let's just watch a movie. Like, oh, let's go to the mall.
How long
Like
does each
doing
TikTok
everything
take?
but TikTok.
Because you guys film like multiple location TikToks.
Yeah, that's true.
'Cause we're
I mean, that could
advanced
be
like
easier. Right. We're complicated like that.
Depending on the video, sometimes to edit, like we did the Kim Possible one, to edit that took so long. I feel like
It's
hours.
really the editing, yeah.
Yeah, and we didn't even do any like crazy transition. You know, when they move the camera and their head goes back in the shirt, or like whatever. We don't even do anything like that. But I
We
feel like
sound
it takes
so
way too long, and it's so bad. Yeah, it take a while. I'm gonna get better at it. I say that, but I haven't been on TikTok since like last year.
What's the name of the channel? And then we'll talk. We'll just give our Instagrams and stuff.
Satou and Kiki, I think.
What is it?
I don't even know.
Or Kiah? Are you sure? I don't know. See, I don't.
See-
Let me look.
I think it's and Kiah. I think it's Satou and Kiah. So SATOU ANDKIAH.
Yeah.
And Kiah, where can they find you on Instagram?
Instagram, Stokes 41, and Twitter, Stokes.
And Myke?
Hit me on Instagram, Myke Mulder 11.
And Satou?
Satou_Sabally.
Thanks to everybody listening, and thanks to the three of you for coming on.
All day.
Yeah, thanks guys.
Thank you.